From the Russ Center for Media in downtown Cape Girardeau, welcome to Focus on Southeast, a program on issues, events, and people impacting Southeast Missouri State University. I'm Dan Woods with KRCU Public Radio. On today's show, we will meet a new faculty member in the Department of Music, find out about SEMO's plans for the Eclipse on April 8th, and learn more about a partnership to bring more job opportunities for SEMO students and community members. Our first guest is Dr. Felipe Brito. He is Assistant Professor of Trombone and the Director of Jazz Studies here at Southeast. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Good to have you here. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be here with us at Southeast.
Yes, so I'm originally from São Paulo, Brazil. I grew up there and I moved to the United States in 2012 for my master's. I went to Indiana University. And then after that, I was in Cleveland, Ohio. I did an artist diploma at the Cleveland Institute of Music. And then finally I went to the University of Texas at Austin to do my doctoral. And throughout that time, I was always teaching and performing. And the job here was open, and I thought it was a great opportunity to continue my career teaching and performing. I love the city. I love my colleagues, my students. It's a great opportunity for sure.
When you were younger, did you always know you wanted to be a musician? Was the plan early on?
Yeah, so both of my parents are musicians, not professional musicians, but they used to play in church, sing, play guitar, and I think that just inspired me. And Brazil is very a musical country, and I grew up playing percussion, and then later went to school and started playing the band. Yeah, I think since early on I knew that that's what I wanted to do, you know.
And you play trombone. Why did you choose trombone?
Well, my band director, initially I wanted to play the trumpet, but then they had too many trumpet players. Oh. And I think that they had a trombone there just sitting, and I thought, you know, he thought that was going to be a good thing for me, and I definitely don't regret it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you play anything else besides trombone?
Trombone is my main instrument.
Okay.
You know, I was a band director, so I can play to teach the students woodwinds, brass, percussion, some piano, but trombone is my main instrument for sure.
I read that you're driven by a deep belief in the genuine connection made through music. So
that's correct.
What is that? Tell us what that means to you.
I think music as community, and I want my students to be part of this big community thing that is, you know, just being a musician. So here at SEMO, we are trying to not only give the experience in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. I think impacting through your music, impacting through who you are as a person, it's important. When I teach, I'm sharing everything that I know. And when I'm performing, I'm always trying to bring my A game and give my 100%, you know.
Mm-hmm. I attended a concert where you were playing trombone. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
And you talked about connecting the River campus and the students in the community all together. What sort of is your vision?
Yeah, so when I got here in Cape Girardeau, I saw that we didn't have a lot of students performing in the city. And at the same time, I saw that not everyone in the city knew all the amazing things that we have on River campus. We have so many talented students, dedicated students, not only in the music program, but everywhere River campus. And the partnership initiated with Old Town Cape. So the nonprofit helped us to connect the music department to different restaurants and venues in town. So now we have the SEMO Gigging Project, which basically we are giving opportunity to the students to go perform in different venues in town, being compensated for that. And another idea is the monthly jam session nights that happens at Spectrum Lounge. So that is already guaranteed. Every month we're going to have that event. And then on top of that, we're having the gigging project, which is involving venues such as Ebb and Flow, Skull Hall is another one, and now the Courtyard as well. And more venues are coming. You know, they're inviting us and the students to perform.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean for the students? How impactful is it?
It gives them that real life experience. When you leave the classroom and you go and perform in front of people in that specific setup, which you're going to be facing later in your life as a professional, that's a great opportunity. It's hard to replicate that in the classroom. So by doing that, we're not only helping the students, but we are also bringing the attention to the community of the talents that we have. You know, later on, you're going to see these students in big projects in major cities and orchestras, and people are going to be proud that they saw a small chapter of their lives here in Cape Girardeau.
Mm-hmm. When Andre Hayward was here, I was at that concert at Scout Hall, and one of the students got to come up on stage and play.
That's right.
It was an amazing experience for him. You could tell he was so excited.
Yes, and that's what we're trying to do. We have our next event at Scout Hall is going to be on March 29. It's a Friday with Bennett Wood. He's the director of jazz studies at Webster University. And before that, we also have the jam session on the Thursday, the 28th. So both events, we give the opportunity to the students. The jam session night, it's very open to anyone, not only the music students, anyone that wants to play, but the event at Scout Hall is something that at a high level, especially for jazz music, when we bring those guests, they're bringing the A game that we have in the region to Cape Girardeau. So that's very unique.
One more thing before I let you go. I read something about Brito Consulting, digital marketing company. What's that all about?
Yeah, so that's something that I'm not doing anymore, but that's something that I am sharing with my students. So basically, I started that when I was a doctoral student at UT Austin. Mm-hmm. And initially, I was entertained by social media and website development. What I do now is to teach that to my students, how important it is to have control of their life online. So I think that it's not only important to know your skills in the musical world, but also have your image, being well organized online. So we teach that, throughout all the classes. If it's jazz band, if it's a private lesson, I'm constantly reminding them how important it is to, if you're going to have your image, your music online, and how to do it in the best way possible.
I would think that would be something to be very important to have organized, yeah.
Absolutely.
Dr. Brito, it's been a pleasure to talk with you. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Dr. Bruce Skinner to learn more about SEMO's plans for the upcoming Eclipse. You're watching Focus on Southeast. We'll be right back.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
Here we go. Welcome back to Focus on Southeast. The Great American Eclipse takes place Monday, April 8th. There are events scheduled all throughout Southeast Missouri, and Southeast Missouri State has events planned too. Dr. Bruce Skinner is here. He has all the details. Good to see you.
Thank you for being here. Look forward to it.
All right, so tell us what SEMO is going to be doing on April 8th.
So we are blessed that April 8th not only is the solar eclipse, again, that's where the moon passes between the sun and the earth, and we had one in 2017. The great thing about this one is it coincides with the end of our 150th celebration. So it really is a cosmic bookend to the 150th celebration. We're going to turn normal into what I hope will be the largest block party that I've seen at Southeast. We're taking things that we've seen done for move-in day, things we saw at the 150th, and trying to bring everything together in one place on April 8th.
So what's going to happen at this block party? What kind of things can we expect?
So we can expect a lot of things. I'm going to actually start before the block party. Okay. We're fortunate to have two scientists from NASA joining us. They will begin at 10:30 in Academic Auditorium. and they are doing what I'm calling a teach-in. Dr. Joe Murphy in physics and chemistry is helping MC that with us. And one of them, for example, specializes in agriculture and microgravity. And so he's going to come in and talk about what that's like. Someone else works on the James Webb Telescope. And we intentionally asked for somebody that maybe isn't Eclipse focused, but more about the Artemis project, more about how sort of science is advancing other areas other than just that. So that's basically 10:30 to noon. The block party will start at 11 o'clock. We have 6 different food trucks. We have some vendors coming in to do carnival games. We have indoor laser tag. Because we work with college students, we have SEMO pets coming in with puppies and dogs.
Puppies, all right.
So food, games, puppies. We have a bunch of inflatables. We have this large tower you can climb. We have human hungry hippos, where they put a bungee on your back and you lay down and you're on these sort of like skateboards, and they launch you towards the middle to try to grab balls and bring it back in. It's
human hungry hippos.
Human hungry hippos. We also have our student organizations are going to be there to do a student organization fair. Anything we can squeeze into Normal Street, we're trying to squeeze into there.
As packed as you can make it. There's stuff at River Campus too, right?
Yes, so the River Campus does an additional thing. They have some performances over there. They have a couple food trucks as well that are happening. And they're doing another event. Some people just don't want all the activity that you see on Normal Street. Plus, seeing the eclipse, the Mississippi River, or the River Campus. I mean, it's practically a beautiful scene.
We probably shouldn't talk about the weather, but what do we think is going to happen? The outlook was when Brian Allworth was talking. We had a panel about this. What do we not? We don't want to talk about that. Maybe I don't know.
Well, so we have similar things. We have, based upon the past 20 years, we have a 2/3 chance of having a mostly sunny or completely sunny day. That also means we have a third that's going to be complete cloud cover or thunderstorms. I want to be a glass 2/3 full kind of guy. So we're going to have sunny skies. I've done the work order demanding that. Should the work order not happen, we'll pivot. If it's just cloudy, we're still going to do the outdoor event. We're going to have everything going. You just won't look up. If it's raining, we'll move everything into the University Center like we did for the 150th.
Okay. Area schools, some schools are coming. What are they going to be doing?
So fortunately, again, much like we did in 2017, we have some schools. We have some schools as far away as Iowa that want to come down, and they're going to either be, depending upon the age of the school, some are middle school, some are high school. The high school and some college students from other colleges will just join us on Normal Street, and they'll be part of the Normal Street Fair. Some of the other students, particularly the middle school, will be over at Houck Stadium, and that will be their viewing area. They'll join us for the teach-in at first. Then they'll visit the street party, and then they'll head over to the stadium so that at 158 they can look up.
So the stadium will just be purely a viewing
Purely a viewing area.
viewing location. What's the general? I mean, all the school. I mean, there's a lot of excitement building around this. What are you hearing from the community, from folks?
So we heard very little until about February, and now I can't give away our flyers. These are what will go up on Normal Street next week.
Okay.
And yes, we have people coming as far away from Iowa. They're very excited.
I'm curious about for the teach-in. Why not an Eclipse specialist? Is there, if there is such a thing? Why not?
So there is such a thing. The reason for that is there are certain places along totality that have a higher probability of better weather, and there are few eclipse experts. So they are in Texas, sort of a little further south, somewhere in Mexico. Plus, we have an advantage. We did the Eclipse Expo in August, so where we had some of those eclipse experts at the Show Me Center for our Eclipse Expo. So they've already been to Cape Girardeau. Now they're going where they have higher probability of seeing totality.
Okay. Anything else we need to know about the eclipse?
So the only thing I would say is 2 things. One, make sure you have appropriate glasses, because the totality is a little more than 4 minutes, and you need good approved glasses and not just something maybe that you find at a local gas station. We have more than 14,000 glasses on hand that we would be handing out prior to the event and the day of the event.
And they're what ISO approved is there's
Correct.
a certain moniker that goes
ISO
along
approved, and it will be on the inside of it, and it will tell you it's to be ISO approved. Just know what you're covering your eyes with before you decide to look up at the sun.
And I heard this rumor, I mean, the classes will be canceled during part of this, right? I'm sure that's exciting news for a lot of folks.
Classes are canceled during the block party, and then offices will close for approximately an hour as well, so that office staff can get outside, faculty and staff can get outside and participate both in the block party and the Eclipse.
Exciting. A lot of fun things happening. Bruce, thanks for being here.
Happy to do it. Thanks for having me.
All right, when we come back, Dan Presson will be here to tell us about a partnership to bring more job opportunities for SEMO students and community members. This is Focus on Southeast. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right seat.
Welcome back to Focus on Southeast. Southeast Missouri State University and Arsenal Business Growth have forged a partnership to create employment opportunities for SEMO students and community members. And Dan Presson is here to tell us all about it. Hey, Dan.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. It's good to be here to talk about this.
So first, tell us about Arsenal Business Growth, about the company.
Arsenal Business Growth is a business-to-business sales operation that works with clients around the country. They have different business segments and industries that they focus on, and what they do is they will actually quell data for their clients and then also set appointments for their clients. So if you are a business and you're looking for a way to expand your growth opportunities, you can hire a company like Arsenal Business Growth and essentially start outsourcing some of your sales work. And what they do is they'll find that information on the employer or the company that you're looking to target. They'll winnow that information down and then even call that company to set an appointment for you.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's been a really incredible opportunity that we've been presented here on the campus of Southeast Missouri State University to work with a small, growing business like Arsenal and bring an entire branch office to Cape Girardeau.
Because they're expanding it. They're based in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, they've already grown out of 2 offices in St. Louis, one that started in Wildwood, another that was in St. Charles. Their growth has been so large and been able to sustain where they actually bought a school in St. Albans. And so Arsenal is now based out of St. Albans, Missouri, and they have about 60 to 70 employees in their office in St. Louis. And as of February 1st, they now have an office in Cape Girardeau on the campus of Southeast Missouri State.
It's housed inside the Catapult building, right?
It is. The second floor of the Catapult building is a large sort of artistic studio space. And what Arsenal has been able to do is go in, add their flair, add their desks, their chairs, their computers, all of the different things, and create an entire branch office right in this part of the building on the SEMO campus.
So let's talk about what this is going to mean, because I read full-time, part-time internships. What's it going to look like?
Yeah, as of right now, they actually have the capacity to host upwards of 20 to 30 interns a semester.
Wow.
So it's a large seating capacity. Obviously, hosting 20 to 30 interns, everybody has different timing and schedules. So if you walk in, you'll never see exactly that many interns working at one time. However, they've got some students that are working in the evenings, some students that are working a little bit earlier in the day. And luckily, because Arsenal does business around the entire United States, there's always a time zone that they can work in. So it really fits well for the student schedule, and it allows students, regardless of transportation ability or anything, the Catapult building is on the shuttle route, and so a student can always get to the building.
And I guess Arsenal's been coming to the career fair, so I guess we've had a relationship with them for a while, right?
Absolutely. We've had a relationship with them for years, essentially ever since that they've been in existence. At one point or another, you would have been able to walk into their office in St. Charles and say, who's a SEMO grad? And about 50% of their staff would raise their hand. They have always been able to hire and willing to hire a lot of our alums, and they make a great employer for our alums. And so whenever we had this opportunity and this idea, it's always nice to have a contact whenever you call them and say, hey, I've got a crazy idea, will you hear me out? And they say yes. That's nice. And that's exactly what I did, is I called the CEO of Arsenal Business Growth and I said, hey, I've got a crazy idea. I have this space. What do you think? And he came to Cape Girardeau and he said, yep, let's do this. And so with that kind of being the nexus, we were able to get them on campus and start a whole new concept of what it means to be employed on campus.
Well, you're ahead of me because when I call with crazy ideas, people hang up on me most of the time, so you're doing better than me. So this is for community members too. How are they going to be able to plug into this?
So as of right now, what we're starting out is we're starting with getting them started in Cape Girardeau as a branch office, utilizing the student talent pipeline. So getting them here, getting them started, getting their business established in this community, and then the goal for this organization is for them to grow and continue to grow in the Cape Girardeau area. So think of that little office in Catapult that they've got now as being the starting space. And then hopefully what we'll be able to do is help them launch into the city of Cape Girardeau, continue to grow, hire additional full-time, additional part-time, and continue to make an impact on Cape Girardeau.
So what does this mean for the region? I mean, of course your office is economic and workforce development. What does this mean broadly from your perspective?
This is how a university directly impacts the economic development of a city or a region. This is exactly what we're talking about whenever we talk about workforce development dovetailing into economic development. The reason why this organization wanted to come to Cape Girardeau is because of the strength of our students and the strength of our graduates. And so by utilizing the university's talent pipeline and some of the university's physical space, we've been able to bring a company to this region, into this community, that otherwise would not have been interested in relocating or locating here. So because the university put forth this effort, called them with a crazy idea, we've been able to introduce an entire business to the city of Cape Girardeau that has infinite growth potential. And then we also have been able to bring experiential learning opportunities directly to our students without leaving our campus.
So this has the potential to really drive a lot of growth, you think?
Absolutely. And so this is one of those opportunities where we've brought this new organization into the city of Cape, and now, you know, with all the strength of our incredible workforce that we have in Southeast Missouri, let's show them what we've got and let's help them grow and help them be successful and then keep them here and keep them growing.
Could this be a template for other businesses to do the same thing at some point down the line?
Absolutely. I'd love to see, once we can, if Arsenal gets to a point where they're too big for our space, we only have so much space.
Right.
If they get to that point where they need additional space, well then let's help them find another spot in Cape Girardeau. Let's help them continue to grow in our community. And then let's see if we can find another organization that would want to come in, utilize the talent pipeline, get established, and then launch into the community again.
What kind of challenges are there with a scenario like this? Is it just getting the word out? Is that really letting people know what's available, what the potential is?
Yeah, it's really just trying to get people to open their eyes to a new opportunity. You know, we are a 40,000 person town, you know, in a 100,000 person county, and so making sure that people see this is a new business. They're doing business in a different way than some of our other local businesses, and so not to be afraid of it, jump in, join in, have some fun with it, and really enjoy learning about a new organization and then working in a new organization.
And I guess it opens up a lot of different opportunities for our students.
That's one of the greatest parts about this conversation. What it provides to our students is innumerable value. You have an opportunity for them to get direct business skill building it's on a university campus, but it's not university related. So they're not answering a phone in an office, they're not filing papers in something else. Right. They're on the SEMO campus, but they're working for an off-campus organization, getting paid off-campus wages, and building the skill sets that are truly dedicated to business and sales.
And for Arsenal, I guess this helps them find future potential employees, and if they continue to grow, they could open an office somewhere else and pull this talent pool that they've created, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So essentially, any student that does an internship with Arsenal and does it successfully will have the ability to transition into a part-time role, and so they'll be able to continue building on that talent pipeline. So for Arsenal, it does give them an opportunity to find new talent. For the SEMO student, it gives them the opportunity to build these incredible skill sets and get paid an off-campus wage in an on-campus location, and really build that resume while they're in school.
Okay, so I want to crawl inside your brain for a minute. I know this is probably in your mind, this is one piece of a big puzzle that you're looking at. So what are some of the other things that you're looking at from your seat to drive business growth and workforce development in the area?
I'd like to take this model. I'd like this idea of utilizing university physical square footage in order to be a generator for economic gain and economic growth. So can we do this in Sykeston? Can we do this in Kennett? Can we utilize our other physical spaces to bring in and break down that barrier between corporate and higher education? How do we provide the best opportunity for our students to build a resume, impact the economy, and build their skill set without them ever actually having to leave our physical space?
But it's not really a class, it's more than that, sort of.
It's more than a class. It's real-world skill building in a real-world environment, and it's with an actual business.
Does this sort of, we've heard a lot of conversation about higher ed changing and the way higher ed runs is going to be different in the future. Is this sort of maybe a piece of what the future might look like?
Absolutely. This is 100% how we break down that barrier between higher education and the corporate world. How do we build the skills that are necessary for someone to be successful post-graduation from the minute that they start on campus? Could a student that is really motivated their freshman year come into a job like this on campus with Arsenal Business Growth, maybe work for 4 solid years with them, make an incredible income while they're here? Maybe it nullifies any extra costs that they have for their education. Maybe we're able to help somebody afford more of an education, and then they're building their skills while they're there. So there's so many ways that this fits into that future of higher education metric. It's breaking down those barriers, it's building real-world skills, it's building resumes, and it's also helping students find that balance between the cost of higher education and the value. Because right now, yes, higher education does have cost, but can we bring these employers to campus that will pay you more, that will allow that cost to be nullified?
That's powerful.
It is.
We've only got about a minute left, but so this is one piece of a big puzzle, and expansion would be critical. And of course, you're still doing all the other things that you're working with resumes, with the students with their resumes, and everything else that you're doing in your office too.
Absolutely. The Office of Economic and Workforce Development at Southeast Missouri State is very much. We are working every single day to make sure this university is doing cutting edge things, whether or not it's a drone training or a skill building partnership with a corporation or a career fair to make sure that we're doing the right things on this campus. We're pulling them all together here at SEMO.
Very exciting. Dan, it was good to talk with you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me.
And Focus on Southeast is a collaboration of KRCU Public Radio and the Department of Mass Media here at Southeast Missouri State. Just a reminder that portions of these conversations will be broadcast on KRCU Public Radio and will also be available online at krcu.org and on the station's YouTube channel. From the Russ Center for Media, I'm Dan Woods. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to join us next time when we focus on Southeast.